one of the most devastating experiences. But the pain of loss goes even deeper for Noemi Dado. Thanks to information technology, which has taken the mainstream in contemporary life, we find women like Noemi Dado. Almost like a best friend, her blog is her whipping board for all the pains and hurts and fears pent up inside her. An outlet for her emotional turmoils and a confidant for her innermost secrets.
Actually, I didn't write that blog for myself. I wrote it for people outside so that they could relate to my story somehow. Because my blog's not just about myself, it's about what they will learn from my experience.
Noemi recalls her childhood fondly. Those were the beautiful days she remembers with a smile. Until the day she found out her mother was dying.
I was around 15 when we found out my mom had breast cancer. It's something that you don't want to think about, because you never think that your parents will die. Keep memories of you also and my family.
It was the first major tragedy that struck Noemi. The day after her mother passed away, Noemi was grief-stricken. So when she eventually died, what did you feel?
I felt sad that the family will be broken. It's not whole, it's not the same. But, you know, my father was really good. He made sure that we were still a happy family.
He never shared with you his grief or his pain?
Only once, the day my mom died.
But it was not the last time they would grieve for somebody they loved so dearly. A few years after, it was her brother who has taken away because of fulminant hepatitis. How did that happen?
Oh, it was, what's this? An epidemic in our neighborhood. The water supply was by the water district of Cebu. Apparently, one pipe was open, and it was along some sewer, so the water got contaminated.
How long did it take before he eventually passed away?
I think just 3 days.
3 days?
Probably got a massive dose of it.
And how old was he at the time?
27.
Little did Noemi know that another tragedy was about to happen. The next tragedy was your other brother naman.
Yes, my own.
And he got leukemia and also died as well.
Yes, but this time 3 years. The same gap as my mom.
3 years, what happened?
From the time he was 1996, diagnosed, and then 99. We brought him to the US for a clinical trial. Fortunately, I have doctors in the families, and they said, hey, we will try this trial. Fortunately, the trial didn't work for him. So he had to be brought home and died within 2 weeks.
A mother and 2 siblings, the loss had been too painful, and her father found it too much to handle. I'm curious how your dad took all of this, because at the time, he lost his own wife, his partner, and his 2 sons.
No, I never figured it out, but now I know that he must not have grieved that healthily, because he didn't talk much about it after the death. Because from what I know now, I mean, I'm jumping ahead, it's good to talk about it. And maybe that's why he was not grieving healthily. He suffered. I mean, he was not taking care of himself. So eventually he also got sick.
Like the worst nightmare one could ever imagine, Noemi's biggest fear happened. It was not her father this time, though, but her most precious 6-year-old son.
You can never imagine that to lose a child. I have met parents before who've lost a child, but never could I ever comprehend what it's like.
Do you remember the last words that your son told you?
I remember he was in the beach, and then I was sitting down in the sand, across the sand. I couldn't walk well, so he said, "Come here, Mama, stay beside me. If only you could swim beside me." And I didn't, because I said, "I don't have a swimsuit," I told him. Love Mom so very much. It's very superlative.
Noemi never thought that that would be the last time she would ever hear her son ask for something. He drowned, was brought to the hospital, but was unfortunately unable to survive.
It seems so surreal. I mean, this is not happening. So I keep telling to my son, come back, come on, you can make it, you can make it. So always with hope. But you know what? I didn't cry in the hospital. I was shocked.
You didn't cry?
I didn't cry. I was shocked. I couldn't think.
So when you decided,
Yeah.
okay, wala na siyang pag-asa, how did you say goodbye to your son?
Oh, I kept holding him. His hands, his hair, and because I know that I'll never touch him again. I whispered in his ears, and then I told him, go to Jesus, go to the light, go to him. And I have this pendant here. Luijoe is always in my heart. So,
It took a while before Noemi could recover from her son's death. But the tragedies were not yet over. Few months passed, it was time for her father to say goodbye. The next incident after your son naman was your father.
oh yeah.
So that's another complication, another tragedy in your life. What was that like? He had a stroke.
You know, when my father died, it was almost relief because he was suffering. 1999. So he died 2003. Imagine that, 4 years bedridden. He's holding on to something. So I said, Dad, you know what? You can go anytime because we're all okay.
In the supreme effort of moving on, Noemi chose to write about the tragedies in her life, telling everyone about the losses and how she survived each of them. Quite interestingly, this has become healing therapy for her. As a matter of fact, she was able to write a book about it. When you rewrote the story of the incident
Yes.
for the book Falling Cradle, that's the moment you broke down.
Oh yeah. It was
Why?
Very. Because I had to write, because when you write the lives, the death of your son, you have to write what he was like as a living boy. I remember the first part, he would say, the good boys go to heaven. Pressed his hands on my cheeks and said, the good boys go to heaven. I said, yeah, of course good boys go to heaven. I said, Mama, I'm not a good boy. She said, no, you are. You're just naughty, but that doesn't mean you're a bad boy. So I described him like that as a very, concerned of his spirituality at such a young age.
Her blogs helped Noemi unravel and come to terms with her emotions and, in a way, to communicate with her son. Whenever she writes in her blog, she feels his presence just lingering around, actually listening to her. When was the last time you cried?
Maybe this morning.
And what did you cry about?
Oh, I was blogging. My latest entry is about blogging in a cemetery. It's the first thing I ever did. And I was telling my son, oh, we're on TV together. I mean, it teared me a bit. I mean, and then I was thinking that maybe my son, is just there with me at the time. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The wind was so cool. It was so peaceful.
For all that she has gone through, I truly admire her strength. I pray that as she continues to write in her blog, time will come when there would be happier stories. Right now, I am confident that her son and the rest of her loved ones are now all angels looking down from heaven. Truly, Noemi Dado is a Filipina to be proud of.
Basta mahalaga na buhay kami. Akala namin mawawala na kami.
At the time, the plane was lost at sea that Jessica thought it was the end of them.
Akala ng GMA and my family, we were all gone.